Okay, let's move on to the Houston Texans. So the win total I have in my book is 8.5. Now that's juiced to the under. Juice pretty heavy to the under. To win the division, plus 220. To win the conference, plus 1,600. To win the Super Bowl, 3,300 plus 3,300. To make the playoffs, plus 137. Deshaun Watson, MVP, plus 2,500. J.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, plus 700. How good is Deshaun Watson? I think that it's still a question that needs to be asked. Well, maybe we get to know better if they would start protecting him. They just don't protect this guy. Now they've drafted Titus Howard out of Alabama State to help protect him. We know that DeAndre Hopkins is a spectacular wide receiver. Top 3, maybe top 1. They need Will Fuller to stay healthy. Watt is getting older. They need to take advantage of him and Clowney right now. The question is, did they improve in the offseason? Their draft took a lot of heat. It was not a popular group of players that they grabbed in the draft. Donnie Rightside, let's start with you, the Houston Texans.
When we take a look at it, Jimmy, you're really built on your front line here. You're really built on your offensive line. You have to protect your quarterback, and especially if your quarterback is a mobile guy who says, you know what, I can make plays in the pocket. I need a little bit extra time. This is exactly the opposite offensive line that you want for a kid who's trying to make plays and hold onto the ball extra long and run maybe some play action pass routes. Because when you're looking at DeAndre Hopkins on the outside, absolutely stunning talent. Will Fuller, stunning talent. Kiki Kuti, it's all out there. You even have a decent running back that can break away with Lamar Miller. But none of that matters if you can't block for anything. You saw it. This kid took an absolute beating in the pocket last year. And what's going to change this year? And if we're ranking coaches 1 through 4 in this division, as much as I don't like a lot of the other coaches, Bill O'Brien, with all that talent over the last 3 to 4 years, has done nothing for this team, and they continue to leave him in place. How bad was their draft? How bad were they out-thunk in the draft? They fired their general manager after 1 year because of how poorly he operated in the offseason and the draft. This is a team that, if I'm taking a look at, Jimmy, at the 8 as a team total, I'm almost factoring in that, you know what, their quarterback's probably going to go down at one point. But if you're starting the season already behind the 8 ball on the offensive line, what happens when injuries creep in on the offensive line this year? I don't think it's going to make too much of a great game plan decision for Bill O'Brien. Look at the defense as well. Yes, they can get after the passer. How about you, Davion Clowney? What happens if he says, you know what, you're not going to pay me? I'm not even going to show up to week 3 or 4, and I'm going to pull what I did in college. I couldn't go pro, so I took the whole year off until I can get paid, until I go to the next level. I don't see a lot of positives here. You have a lot of shakeup in the secondary, but of all these teams, and we're going to take a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I think are improved and are more on the upswing. The Tennessee Titans didn't have a great year. I think they're more talented. This is the team I expect to slip from in this division, Jimmy.
Wow. A lot of question marks around the Texans. Whale Capper, how do you see this squad?
Dude, we're rowing the boat in the same direction today, fellas. I love this. Let's do a little word association. Bill O'Brien. First thing I think of, fraud. Okay, this guy is not a playoff winning head coach. He will not take you to the promised land. He was lucky not to have gotten fired after 4 weeks last year. He should have lost his job. And then turn around and they fire their general manager after the draft this year. Like, there are red flags over so many parts of this organization. I'm losing track of them. And then you get onto the field. Do they have talented players on both sides of the ball? Obviously. Red flags, though, all around Clowney. Donnie, you could not have nailed that more perfectly. Like, do you see a legitimate, bona fide effort out of Clowney this year, given his contract status? Your guess is as good as mine. There's no reason to think that we will. J.J. Watt, plus 700 to be Defensive Player of the Year. You're telling me he's for sure going to play 16 games this season? I would take the under on whatever total games you think he will play this season. He was put back together with Scotch tape and twine, made it through 16 games last season, no-showed in the playoffs. Like, this is a very fragile situation with this team. They exist on the defensive side based on their pass rush and their linebacker play. They have lots of weaknesses in their secondary. They can be attacked by teams that can pass the ball. And guess what? There's plenty of teams now as you look across the AFC landscape that can pass the ball. And guess what? As you look down their schedule, there are plenty of those teams on the Texans' schedule this year. So this is setting up for a legitimate step back for this team and this franchise this season. I love the young, talented quarterback they have in Deshaun Watson. I think we will be talking about him if we are doing this show in 5-10 years. We will be talking about Deshaun Watson still is guided in this league because he has the tools. He has the ability to make the passes down the field that you need to be a successful passer in this league. But again, Donnie nailed it. They don't have the pieces around him to keep him upright for large enough portions of the game that he can, get you back into the game if you are behind. And that is the last red flag that I need to expect them to underachieve in terms of win total this year. They'll beat up on some of the bottom feeders in the AFC. But this is a team that when they go up against the best, they are going to come up short as far as I handicap them.
I agree with both of your takes on the Texans. I'm going to have nothing to do with them in my future's action unless I want to take a stab on the under, but with the high quality of quarterback wide receiver play, even without being protected, it still makes me a little afraid to take the under minus 140.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.